This one comes from Petty Revenge, and it has 60,000 upvotes.
Whoa.
So this is the very top one in the category. You want to try to take 9 inches off our property? We'll take 20 feet of yours. We have lived in our house for about 8 years in a rural neighborhood in Arizona. About a year ago, this dude from California bought the lot next to us and threw a fit about the stuff we had on the property line. We had put a single fence pole vaguely where the property line was. We hadn't had any sort of land survey done. It was supposed to just be a temporary marker that became a permanent marker. Dude was absolutely livid that we had vehicles parked, quote, on his property. The very tip of one of our cars was touching the established boundary. He threatened to have our vehicle towed, so we simply had an actual land survey done, and it turned out that the property line was a good 20 feet into his property. Homeboy should have just let sleeping dogs lie and not been an asshole about a few inches.
Damn.
Okay, so there's a couple edits. I've had some journalists reach out to me and ask me for some comments, so here are the updates you asked for. Feel free to ask more questions for some clarifications or ask again if I missed yours. They provided the zip code, but it was redacted for GPS reference. It's a small rural neighborhood in the mountains of Arizona. All the houses are 3 to 5 acre horse properties. The roads are all dirt and unmaintained. It used to be a very understandable place to live. But in the last few years, it has been developed and property values have been going up, quadrupling since we moved here in 2016. This has attracted a crowd of people who care what yards look like, who simply weren't here when this was cheap. The neighbor is one of these new people. We moved here specifically because the neighborhood had a bunch of messy yards already, and we wanted to have lenient neighbors. We lived in harmony with our neighbors' junky yards for years. 2. The neighbor introduced himself by calling the county on a bunch of us anonymously. We knew he called on us because he was bragging about calling the county on several other neighbors for their messy yards, so whether he intentionally included us in the report or not, he brought the inspectors to the neighborhood. He came on our property by at least 40 feet before there was a fence to closely examine our piles of scrap metal. We caught this on camera and confronted him in text. It turned out he was very angry that he had purchased land next to a Suedo scrapyard. We had several cars in various stages of disassembly and piles of materials. Keep in mind, this is the country. This is normal out here. We're on 5-acre lots. Another detail that I missed in my original post, he isn't even living on this lot. He bought a lot with a very small cabin 3 houses down, along with the lot next to us, with the intention of turning it into an income property. After we confronted him in text, he confronted us in person